Tom Cruise did not emerge from comfort or certainty, but from a childhood shaped by instability, frequent moves, and emotional pressure. Born in 1962 in Syracuse, New York, he grew up in a modest Catholic household where financial struggles were constant. His mother, Mary Lee, worked tirelessly as a teacher and amateur performer to keep the family steady, while his father's unpredictable temperament left a lasting impression on young Tom. As the only son among 4 children, he carried a quiet desire to be strong, capable, and worthy of approval. School was difficult, especially after he was diagnosed with dyslexia, a challenge that made reading painful and confidence fragile. Yet within that struggle, something hardened inside him. He learned early that survival required focus and effort. That belief would later define his life. Long before fame, Tom Cruise was already training himself not to fall apart, discovering identity through performance. Constant relocation meant Tom attended more than a dozen schools, rarely staying long enough to feel rooted. Each new classroom reinforced his sense of being an outsider, but it also forced him to adapt quickly. In this shifting world, performance became his refuge. On stage, he could control the narrative. Acting offered him what real life did not: clarity, confidence, and purpose. During adolescence, he explored many paths: sports, drama, even a brief period considering religious life, but none fully answered his inner drive. What remained constant was the need to be seen and to matter. When his family finally found stability after his mother remarried, Tom made a decision that surprised few who knew him well. He would pursue acting seriously. It wasn't escapism, it was confrontation. Acting allowed him to transform vulnerability into strength and uncertainty into precision. It became the first place where he felt powerful, leaving home with nothing but resolve. In the early 1980s, Tom Cruise left home with little money, an old suitcase, and a determination sharpened by years of self-doubt. New York City was unforgiving, crowded with dreamers chasing the same future. Auditions were brief, rejections frequent, but Tom treated each setback as training rather than failure. His first screen appearance in Endless Love was small, yet it confirmed his instincts. Soon after, taps revealed something deeper. Directors noticed not just talent, but commitment. Tom didn't perform roles casually. He inhabited them fully. Every scene carried urgency, as if something essential were at stake. That intensity wasn't manufactured. It came from years of feeling overlooked. When Risky Business arrived in 1983, his charm captured a generation. But behind the confident smile was awareness. Fame was powerful, but fragile. He knew staying there would require relentless discipline, fame, image, and the weight of expectation. Top Gun in 1986 turned Tom Cruise into a global symbol almost overnight. The film's success placed him at the center of popular culture, defining him as fearless, charismatic, and unstoppable. Yet success brought confinement. Audiences expected the same image repeatedly, while Tom felt increasingly aware of how limiting that role could become. He wasn't satisfied being admired solely for surface appeal. Films like Cocktail proved his box office pull, but they also highlighted the gap between popularity and respect. Determined to close that gap, Tom chose risk over comfort. Born on the 4th of July demanded physical and emotional transformation, forcing him to abandon heroic certainty for vulnerability. The role earned critical acclaim and industry recognition, validating his belief that control and effort could reshape destiny. Still, the applause didn't quiet his inner restlessness. Achievement for him never meant completion. Control as craft and survival. By the early 1990s, Tom Cruise entered a phase defined by precision and strategy. A few good men demonstrated restraint and authority, proving he could command attention without spectacle. Projects like The Firm balanced commercial success with moral complexity, while Interview with the Vampire shattered expectations entirely. Choosing darker, ambiguous characters was not rebellion, it was exploration. Tom was searching for range, for the freedom to be more than an icon. In 1996, that search crystallized with Mission, impossible. As both star and producer, he reshaped his career. Creative control allowed him to protect quality and vision. The franchise wasn't merely entertainment, it was structure. Each decision was measured, every risk calculated. Control, once learned as defense, became craft. But as his authority grew, so did the pressure. The same system that empowered him also isolated him. The cost of relentless perfection. Over time, Tom Cruise became synonymous with authenticity in action cinema. His insistence on performing real stunts wasn't spectacle for its own sake, it was philosophy. To him, credibility mattered. From climbing skyscrapers to aerial maneuvers, each feat reflected an internal rule: fear must be faced directly. Colleagues describe his work ethic as exacting but purposeful. He studies every element of production, from lighting to pacing, ensuring nothing feels accidental. This precision delivers results few can match, but it also leaves little room for rest. Success reinforced the pattern. Audiences rewarded commitment, studios trusted his instincts, and his influence expanded. Yet beneath the admiration lay exhaustion. Perfection demands constant vigilance. For Tom, slowing down felt dangerous. As long as motion continued, doubt stayed quiet. Still, the line between dedication and burden grew thinner with each passing year. Faith, belief, and public scrutiny. As his influence increased, Tom's personal beliefs became subject to intense public scrutiny. Introduced to Scientology during his first marriage, he embraced its structure and promises of clarity with conviction. For him, belief offered order in a world that once felt chaotic. Over time, his association with the church became inseparable from his public identity, drawing fascination as well as criticism. Statements made during moments of conviction were often amplified, sometimes misunderstood, and frequently debated. The complexity of belief, when lived privately, became simplified in headlines. Professional relationships felt the strain as public perception shifted. While some admired his certainty, others grew cautious. Tom remained unwavering, choosing consistency over approval. Faith, like work, became another domain governed by discipline. Yet the more tightly life was organized, the more distant it seemed from spontaneity. Balance proved elusive, and belief carried consequences beyond intention. Love, marriage, and emotional distance. Tom Cruise's relationships unfolded under extraordinary pressure, shaped by fame, belief, and relentless schedules. His marriage to Nicole Kidman was marked by shared success and creative ambition, yet gradually strained by differences in personal direction. Though publicly graceful, the separation carried deep emotional weight. Later relationships reflected similar patterns, intense beginnings followed by quiet distance. With Holmes, the speed and spectacle of romance captivated the world, but private realities proved more complicated. Parenthood briefly softened his image, introducing vulnerability into a life governed by structure. Over time, differing priorities led to separation, handled swiftly and privately. What followed was silence rather than conflict. Tom continued working, traveling, creating. Katie built a quieter life focused on stability. Their paths diverged completely. The story wasn't scandal, it was distance. Fame magnified the absence, but the truth was simpler. Connection requires flexibility, something Tom had long struggled to allow himself. A career without retreat. While personal life grew quieter, Tom Cruise's professional momentum never slowed. Mission: Impossible evolved into a defining legacy, each installment pushing physical and technical boundaries. Even as peers stepped back, he advanced. Films like Edge of Tomorrow and Top Gun, Maverick demonstrated adaptability, earning both critical and commercial praise. The latter, released during a fragile moment for theaters, reaffirmed his commitment to the cinematic experience itself. He wasn't chasing relevance, he was preserving belief in spectacle done right. Financial success followed naturally, but wealth remained secondary to execution. Tom lives with discipline, structured routines, constant training, minimal indulgence. He avoids distractions, preferring purpose. To collaborators, he is demanding but loyal. To audiences, consistent. Yet the pace leaves little room for reflection. The question lingers quietly. How long can motion replace stillness? Legacy of discipline and solitude today, Tom Cruise stands as a rare figure, an actor whose identity is inseparable from effort itself. His legacy isn't only measured in box office numbers or daring feats, but in an unwavering belief that excellence must be earned repeatedly. He represents an older ideal of stardom, built on presence rather than visibility. Yet behind the legend is a solitary figure, moving constantly, defined by commitment and restraint. The child who once feared losing control learned to master everything within reach. But mastery comes with trade-offs. Connection requires vulnerability, and vulnerability demands surrender. Tom chose certainty instead. His story is neither triumph nor tragedy alone, but a complex balance of both. He remains admired, debated, and enduring.